Okay, I think we are live and gives me just an extra second before I can grab the link. So I'll do that before we officially get started. And let me know if the sun or anything is like glaring. I am waiting on my new computer to arrive, and it's funny because my computer is probably a few years old, but it's gotten a lot of wear and tear. So the screen to me looks has like this reflective film from all the years of use.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit tricky. I think this is my last day of that. All right, cool. So I dropped a link in the chat should you want to have a recording. Awesome. And I'm excited to talk to you. It's been a minute since I looked at kind of what's happening in your business since we spoke last. So I was just pulling up some of the notes that you had shared with me. But if you want to put it in your own words, I would love to hear, from you what's currently happening. And just for a little bit of context, if you want to share for anybody that ends up seeing this, kind of who you are, what you do, and a little bit of like what your life looked like before you and I kind of came together and our worlds collided.
Yeah, definitely. So when our worlds collided, I had my psychotherapy practice. I was working in full time, which I had started in 2014, and then went full. Well, I quit my clinic job in 2015. It was like then I had other jobs, but I've been self-employed since 2017. Is it okay? Let me know.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I was just double checking my Wi-Fi. Looks good.
Yeah. So when I came into your world, I think it was late 2021. I was kind of just starting. I think a few months prior, I had decided I wanted to start a coaching practice. And move towards transitioning the therapy practice out and the coaching practice in, which I
completed. Stacey?
Yeah.
It is cutting out a little bit, so I'm going to see what happens if we take our video off for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see how that does.
Okay. So anyways, so I transitioned, I closed my therapy practice June 15th, 2022, almost a year ago. And I've just been doing my coaching practice. And so I feel like so much keeps changing since then, that I keep changing. So my business keeps changing along with it, which has been new, right? Because with a therapy practice, that really stayed the same for the most part.
Yeah.
Regardless, of what was happening in my life. So that's like a huge difference between the two businesses. So I was actually kind of looking back at some of my content that I really seem to write about. And a lot of it that I tend to write most about has to do with our own inherent power and non-attachment, and I guess themes like that. So I guess those are like the themes that are really alive for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to turn my video back on just to see. We're doing an ABA design test as we roll. If it gets choppy for you, I might have you turn your video off.
Okay.
Just when you speak so it doesn't cut out.
Yeah.
Because it was doing better, but not 100% clear. So I find it incredibly interesting and not at all surprising that this is kind of how our worlds came to intersect, because that really is, I don't like to get into labels and terms so much, because then people get in their head and they're trying to understand it from an intellectual perspective. But this really is like the nature of a dark business. This is like the edge of consciousness. This is the place where you get to just create as a creator. You're not trying to hold on to it looking a certain way, and you're letting the energy move through you. And therefore your business is simply this work of art, and it's an interactive work of art. So it's ever evolving as you evolve. Now, of course, some of your, like you mentioned, your content, it becomes evergreen. It's something that lives on even when, you know, you're no longer in that place. You know, I have bodies of work like that. Like, I don't do all the things from my first book. I don't do all the things from some of the workbooks that I've created that really served me at a time where I create, what do you call it? Like modalities. When I need a modality to move into the next level, I create that thing. So of course it's a beautiful thing to share. And then the art, and I think this is where you're probably hanging out too, is there's an art to sharing the thing that you're no longer actively using. Even when that thing's not truly like alive for you right now, there is still value in it. So finding a way for that to reach people, and then they can kind of, in a way, grow into the capacity to work with where you are now.
Yeah, definitely.
So you might want to do that video thing again since you froze.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too, because I feel like a big change has been happening again lately. And then I decide, well, you know, what should I take something away from the past, or what's still alive, what's helpful? And I have a section more on like the inner work that draws a lot from parts work and things like that. And you know, I was like, well, that stuff is still really valuable for people that need that place, depending on where they're at in their evolution, and kind of
Hey, Stacey.
recognize. Yeah, it's a cutting out.
Yeah, you cut out. So I think what we're going to do is stop this, and I'll just, we may be able to, you know, use something from it later, but I think it would be better if we try a new recording.
Yeah,
and,
that's a good idea.
And then see if maybe maybe if there's a connection. I don't know, maybe check your connection. Oh, it just said it was on my end. It shows that I have full. Okay.